Hello, welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. My name is Brielle, and today I want to talk about the dream girl versus placeholder. I've done this type of video. It's still on my page if you want to go ahead and look at that also. I'm going to see if I can try to learn how to attach it. Hopefully, I'll have success in learning how to attach that video so that you can go back and look at the old video because this video is going to be more along the lines as a measuring stick. I kind of want you to understand if you've been put in the category of a placeholder or a dream girl and what that looks like. So you're going to be able to use this video to be able to say, hey, this is a measuring stick. These are the things that are happening that may indicate that I am a placeholder or a dream girl. A woman should be doing her due diligence to become her own dream girl. Before I even get jumping into the content, I stand for women becoming their own dream girl. Most women are very confused about the dream girl versus the placeholder. And the reason for that is because they both start at 100%. So let me break this down. Both women start at 100%. Both women are being pursued. Both women are given time. Both women are given some type of support or validation. Both women may be even being provided for to some level. That is the reason why a lot of women don't understand if they are a dream girl or a placeholder. And I feel like that this video is so important now because we have a wave of wives that are placeholder wives now. And so I don't want that fate to be the women of my community. If you follow me, I want you to have the best of the best of the best of the best. And so I do not desire for you to fall into the category of a placeholder. So that's why we're going to have an in-depth conversation about what that looks like so you don't end up being a placeholder wife. The women who are consistently trying to get their men to change, trying to get more time, validation, resources, and attention and support from their men, that is because they're placeholder wives. So let's get back to my example. The placeholder and the dream girl, they both come in at 100%. So they're both well, I'm not going to say both because you're not both confused. There's only one of them that is confused. That is the placeholder. See, a dream girl, she would never get below 95% in support, emotional support, attention, validation, and resources. She would never go below that. Even during times of sickness or working or death, dream girl will always never go below 95%. But see, the placeholder, what happens is that he continues to take things away from the relationship, and women don't really notice until they're at 0%. When they're at 0%, then they're trying to figure out how do I become his dream girl? Even though he's been taking things away slowly from the relationship. This is what it looks like. He starts to breadcrumb you down. He starts to breadcrumb you down. So both of them start at 100%, right? The placeholder, she gets to 90% because he starts to become inconsistent in his availability. Then she gets to 80% because he stops returning phone calls and texts. Then she gets to 70% because he starts to lack the desire to even plan a date. Then she gets to 60% where it's nothing but Netflix and chill. Then she gets to 50% where he's going to start talking about other women. Then he gets to 20% where he gives lots of excuses. Then he breadcrumbs her down to the point where she's getting 0%. And that's when women tend to ring the alarm instead of looking at the things that are being taken away from the relationship. In the very beginning, both of them get all of this. The dream girl and placeholder get the same thing. It's just as a placeholder, you're going to start to see things being removed. And he's going to breadcrumb you down to where you're only accepting 0% from him. This means he is getting more of the benefits from you, like sex, emotional support, attention, and validation, and even resources. But in the very beginning, he was given all those things. So that's how you're going to be able to tell the difference. When you're the dream girl, the reason why your 5% may drop is because of the fact that maybe there's a death in the family, maybe he's sick, or maybe he's working. But you're never going to go below 95%. He's still going to do what he needs to support you, to give you attention, to validate the relationship, and to make sure that you're provided for with resources. So the dream girl would never see herself being breadcrumbed down. The placeholder will see herself being breadcrumbed down and it will end up with 0%. That's where she starts to ring the alarm. And she's like, what can I do in order to change things? So how would you know if you're a placeholder? If you're going to know if you're a placeholder, if you start thinking these two questions, they're always spot on. How does he feel about me? Does he love me? What are we? If those three questions are in your head, then you're in a placeholder position. Because a dream girl, since you're the dream girl, he would never put those thoughts in your head. He would never want you to question the validation of the relationship, because the dream girl, the woman who's her own dream girl, she would absolutely leave that man alone. The placeholder stays. She stays to try to see if she can fix the relationship or make it better, or if she can spark something in him for him to see her as the dream girl. The thing is, you were never the dream girl. You came in as a placeholder. And the thing that women need to know, I'm going to tell you the truth when nobody else will tell you the truth, because a lot of people, I feel like social media has a way of trying to get women all triggered, and because they want some of your coins. Okay. So they're not going to tell you that if you come in as a placeholder, you're going to leave out as a placeholder. You cannot switch that position with a man. If he doesn't see the value in you, there's nothing you can do about that. All right. If it's freezing on YouTube, just kind of refresh and see if that works. Hey, Daisy. Hey, Hessie. MS, hey, I'm seeing a placeholder and I am the dream girl. Holy moly, 2014 taught me much. Yes, I was a placeholder in 2014. Now it's 2024 and it's my turn. I'm the total package. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mine is good. Yes. That's what I said. Is I know seeing other comments are freezing. So if yours is freezing, you might want to just refresh or restart the live for you. But when it comes down to it, a placeholder is going to continue to be breadcrumb down, which means they're going to take stuff away from the relationship. That's the reason why in the very beginning, both will receive a man becoming on very strong, taking you out to dinner, giving you emotional support, giving you attention, validating you, even sharing some resources with you. But when you're the placeholder in that man's mind, you're going to start to see he's going to take those things from you. He's going to take away he's going to become more inconsistent. He's going to become more unavailable. He's going to be more interested in Netflix and chilling. He's going to be giving you a lot of excuses of why he can't spend time with you, or why he's unavailable, or why he can't do things for you. He's not going to care at 0% because he's going to feel like you're locked in. The lie that is told, and I think this lie starts off with romantics that we watch as girls. Because if you actually think about romantics, the placeholder sometimes gets to make it to the dream girl. Think about it. Any romantic show that you might have watched, maybe the woman was always there, and then he suddenly notices her, and then she becomes the girl that he didn't even notice before. She becomes a dream girl. And I think in our minds as women, we think that's possible for us, but that is movies. That's not how it works. When you're the dream girl, you're the dream girl. When you're the dream girl, you're the dream girl. When you're the placeholder, you're the placeholder. It doesn't just, there's not going to be something that's going to spark in that man that's going to make you all of a sudden the dream girl. And we hold out hope as women that there's going to be something within that man that's going to see our value and our worth. And he's going to see us as the dream girl because we feel like we're the dream girl for him. But he doesn't see it. Like it's great for you to feel like you're the dream girl and become the dream girl of your dreams. But you don't want to deal with a man who does not see that within you. He needs to reflect that back to you. He needs to show up, showing that he sees your value and that you're worthy of everything. You don't want this man to start breadcrumbing you down, because that's what men do when they are dealing with a woman they see as a placeholder. And don't take it as though it's something to do with your work, because it's not. It's not. What it means is that you need to get back to business of becoming your own dream girl. You need to be working on yourself and investing and involving yourself with self and decentering him and centering yourself so that you can get the best version of yourself and you can attract the best version of men that's going to be attracted to the dream girl that you are. But when you are the placeholder, and now I feel like we have an epidemic now where women are, it's no longer just a placeholder girlfriend, it's a placeholder wife. When wives are being placeholders now. Men are looking around and saying, this woman has stayed around through all the things we've been through. She's allowed me to breadcrumb her down and give her the bare minimum. Let me go ahead and wife her because that's the best I'm going to get. And some women are so excited about that, they will accept it and end up being a placeholder wife where their men don't pay attention to them. They don't give them emotional support. They don't give them any type of attention. They don't validate. They don't even share the resources with them. So this video, I want it to be somewhat of a measuring stick for you to determine, am I a placeholder or am I the dream girl? The dream girl, you're going to feel so much better being the dream girl in a relationship versus the placeholder. The dream girl is confused right now about where she stands in her relationship. Excuse me, the placeholder is confused about where she stands in her relationship. The dream girl is secure in her relationship and she's secure with him. And so you want to make sure that you have an understanding of where you are in your relationship or where you are when you get in a relationship, so you can determine, am I a placeholder or am I the dream girl? Because you would prefer to be the dream girl. The dream girl, he's never going to go beyond 95% with you. He's never going to get down to 0% when he doesn't even care. Think about all the women who get on social media and they're always talking about their husband don't care. Their men don't care about anything they have to say. They can't even, he doesn't care about their opinion. He doesn't even listen to them. He's always busy out with his boys or playing video games. He's doing all these things but participating in the relationship because they have been breadcrumbed down to accept the bare minimum and they think that's normal. That is not normal. That is placeholder behavior. That is a placeholder. You're the placeholder in a relationship if you allow men to breadcrumb you down. He's giving you the bare minimum of himself because you have accepted the bare minimum. And let me give you all a bit of I think I would say this is the great part of when it comes to the dream girl or the placeholder. The dream girl, a woman can be the dream girl in a man's life in the very beginning, but end up in the placeholder position. But a placeholder can never be the dream girl. Let's sit with that for a second. A dream girl can come in the very beginning and be the dream girl, but end up being the placeholder. And the placeholder can never become the dream girl. The reason why a dream girl can lose her spot, it's just like when you have like a celebrity crush and then you meet that celebrity and you realize that celebrity is so entitled and they're just not a nice person and you really don't like them anymore just because of your interaction with them. That's the same thing that can happen if a man can view you as a dream girl and then he gets to know you and y'all just don't click. Your personality, your values, everything just isn't clicking. He doesn't see you as a dream girl. So he may pull you over to being the placeholder. But you have to recognize a woman who's becoming her own dream girl, she's always going to recognize when she's being breadcrumbed down, when everything's been taken away. He started out giving me all of this. Now, every single time we get together, I'm starting to realize that things are starting to go missing. Like he is starting to go missing. Now he don't want to play on dates anymore. Now he don't want to give me any type of support. Now he doesn't want to be there for me. Now he doesn't want to share his resources. You're being breadcrumbed down. Pay attention. But a placeholder, a woman who's coming in as a placeholder and he is needing a woman for the benefits of her being there, she will be the placeholder until she decides to leave. Because a placeholder can never, ever spark something in a man for her to become the dream girl. But a dream girl can lose her position just based off the fact that you all just don't click. It's just like when you have those celebrity crush. I never had a celebrity crush, but I did. I remember in New York about 3 or 4 years ago, I met Kim Kardashian. And I thought she was super beautiful on screen. But when I met her, I felt like she was just the average chick. And I kind of lost my fascination with her. Like it was just, she's not what I thought she was. Because in the beginning, seeing her on screen, she looks a whole lot differently in person. And so that's how it can happen with the dream girl. Except it's a little bit deeper in that. It goes in the lines of maybe your personality isn't clicking. Maybe your values isn't clicking. Maybe the purpose or journey that you're on isn't clicking. But that's how you can use that role in, that place in his life. You can go in as a dream girl. He can admire you and have a crush on you. But then you all get to know each other and he realizes it isn't going to work. But a woman who is and has been working on becoming her own dream girl, she would recognize this and she won't want to go further with this. She would realize that this is not going to work. Let me go about my business and let me continue to work on myself and date men that are going to be my dream guy. But a placeholder can never, ever be able to become the dream girl. And I feel like a lot of women get into spaces like mine because they're trying to figure out how can they become the dream girl for that guy that he would never see you as a dream girl. You've already done so much within the relationship, and you've accepted, you've allowed him to breadcrumb you down and give you the bare minimum. And there's an aspect of respect that comes with this also. So even because of the fact that he can't respect that you accepted that, and which men do not respect women when they accept the bare minimum. I don't care what the conversation on social media. I know this in real life from personal experience that men do penalize women when they come in and accept the bare minimum and allow a man to disrespect them. They can't see you the same. So you can never switch from being a placeholder to a dream girl. It will not happen. There's nothing I can even teach you to spark something in a man that doesn't see you as his dream girl, because you can't ever change places. He's already decided and put you in that category. It's best as a placeholder, if you're a placeholder wife or a placeholder girlfriend. Well, I'm not going to say wife. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to leave you wives alone, because there's a lot of placeholder wives out here. So I'm going to leave you wives alone. But if you're a placeholder girlfriend, I'm going to tell you to start over. Burn your stuff to the ground and start over. You deserve better. You deserve better. You can absolutely go out here and be the dream girl for the right type, the right guy. You don't have to sit here and be accepting the bare minimums and be breadcrumb down. You don't have to accept that. You can absolutely receive better. Mine is good. Like Angie and Shark Tale, LOL. Yes. Yes. Like you said, having walking power and be ready and willing to leave. Yes. Be willing to leave. That's the reason why I think in the other video, I'm not sure exactly all that I put in that video because so long ago, because I did an old video about this a long time ago. But I can tell you this, one of the principles of my page, I teach you to be the dream girl, to teach you to be your own dream girl. So you can be on the energetic level to attract your dream guy. But when you go into relationships and you allow men to give you the bare minimum and breadcrumb you down, there's a sense of loss of respect for that. And men will, that's another reason why you've already accepted the less of him, that he can never make that change and move you over into a dream girl status. So it's best to actually start over. Do you believe you walked away, the man could later see you as the dream girl? No, I don't believe if he's not seeing it with you in front of him, he's not going to see it when you walk away. It's really for your best mental health for you to walk away and allow your dream guy to find you. Because what's happening here now is that a lot of women are trying to figure out how to become a man's dream girl. And they're trying to wait for something to spark in him, for him to see you, because we've watched so many romantic videos that indicated that. Like, I can literally think one off the top of my head called Boomerang. You all may have not even seen it. I don't know how old you are, but I can tell you Boomerang is the classic video, a romantic comedy where the woman that is sitting in front of him that's a good woman is sitting in front of him, but he does not see her value until he puts her through everything. He really breadcrumbs her down and gives her the bare minimum, and she is steadily fighting for more. At the end of the video, he figures out that, oh my gosh, she's the dream girl. She's it. And then he goes and chases her. But that's not real life. A lot of girls have based their, what they feel like how romance is supposed to happen based off videos. And that is not the way it works. If you come in and he categorizes you as a placeholder, you're going to leave as one. You're going to be a placeholder. You cannot transition from placeholder to dream girl because he doesn't see it in you. And then he's watched you also allow the bare minimum with him. He's watched you take less. He's watched you allow him to disrespect him. He's watched you accept the bare minimum. He's watched you not share. He's been able to allow to not share resources with you. You've allowed all of this to happen, and that doesn't just go away. that affects his psyche of being with that woman that he has been allowed to drag through the mud and give the bare minimum. And so he can't see you in the way, just like when I said that I was thinking that she was very pretty. And then when I see her in person, I realize she's just an average girl. Y'all ain't never met her in person. I have. She's just an average girl. Television makes her look like she's above average. She's just an average girl. I've met 10 of her. 10 of her. But you don't realize that until you're in that position. You don't realize it. And see, this is going to be like a measuring stick. I want you to have a measuring stick of if I'm a placeholder or if I am a dream girl in this relationship. Because placeholders be thinking on the lines of how do I change him? Placeholders be thinking online, if he would change this one thing, he would be perfect. When you have those type of questions in your head, you're the placeholder, baby. And the only way you're going to change it if you leave that man alone. I can't pander to that. I have to tell you the truth. This is based on my own personal experience and me being a placeholder before. Me absolutely accepting the bare minimum and watching the relationship deteriorate and watch him breadcrumb me down to going to a place where he used to take me on dates to now he only want to Netflix and chill. Going to a place where he used to want to share resources to now he don't want to give me a penny. Going to a place where he would love to support the things I was doing to now he act like I'm not even existing. And for some reason, women don't ring the alarm until he's not even interested. Baby, he done got to the point he's not even interested. You've already lost the plot. You should have left that man. As soon as that man start breadcrumbing you down and giving you the bare minimum, you need to focus on somebody who's going to give you more than that, who sees value and sees your worth, that see you as the dream girl. Men usually can't get their dream girl until they're financially stable. Not true. Not true. Men, even if a man's dream girl come into play and he doesn't have a lot, he'll make it happen. He will make it happen. The thing is, the placeholder came in and he wasn't interested in making it happen because he knows that she's going to accept the bare minimum and he can breadcrumb her down. So it's not about being financially stable. A man who comes across his breadcrumb will get, a man that comes across his dream girl, he will get ready for that dream girl. He's not going to let her slip through his fingers. Only thing will stop that is if he gets around you and your personality is so off or your values don't match or, the purpose or journey that he's trying to build, y'all just don't fit. Then he may be like, oh, let me let her go. Let me let her go find somebody else that's going to treat her better. But money don't come into play. Men have come across their dream girl regardless if they have $1 in their pocket or if they have $1 million in their wallet. They get ready for the dream girl. They go out here and they work 2 and 3 jobs. I literally know a woman that when she met her husband, he didn't have, I don't even think he barely had a job. He was barely going to work. And when she came on the scene, he picked up 2 to 3 jobs. And even right now, he got about 4. He's making sure that she can stay at home and she's well provided for, and she doesn't have to worry about anything. When a man comes across a dream girl, he will get ready. He will do everything to make sure that she does not pass him over and that he is in a better situation. The thing is, women think that all women can make a man do that. And that's not true. A placeholder would never have that, would never inspire a man to do all of that. Yes, I remember the movie Boomerang. Good example. If I remember, actress Halle Berry played herself. Halle Berry played herself in Boomerang. And I know that's going against everything y'all feel like that video is a classic and it's a great love story. I'm going to tell you that's a horror story. That is a horror story because Halle Berry played herself. She should have went and found a man that saw her worth and value immediately and was able to get more than Community D, because that's what he was. I feel like that since Eddie Murphy is the star in that movie, he was nothing but Community D, and he was just sleeping around. To me, that's not a dream guy. A dream guy, a woman who's absolutely becoming her own dream girl. That's not a dream guy for a dream girl. and she was wonderful. So she played herself in that video. But I have a lot of, I got a lot of different opinions when it comes to a lot of different videos that people view as like romance or love. Same, and it never got better. In fact, when I started Level Up, he left me alone and hasn't popped up like he used to. It's been 4 years, and I'm so happy. Yes, absolutely. The thing is, when a woman's coming in and she is the placeholder and she starts to level up and starts to become her own dream girl, yeah, energetically, y'all are not going to be a match anyway because he doesn't see your worth or value. He wants you to accept being the bare minimum. He wants you to accept that you're breadcrumbing him down. And I think that's women need to realize that and stop trying to figure out how you can become the dream girl for a specific man and just start over. Start investing in yourself, getting you some hobbies. If you don't have a life, get a life, pouring into yourself, doing things to absolutely step into your womanhood, doing things that can support yourself and get on the energetic level so that you will be able to attract your dream guy versus absolutely staying with this guy who isn't your dream guy. And only thing you can think of is trying to figure out how you can change or what you can do to be better so that he can see you as the dream girl. Be the dream girl when you meet him. Yes, love and basketball is another one. Love and basketball is another one. Jumping the broom is another one. I feel like every last one of them do not indicate like that girl is the dream girl. All of them were willing to accept the bare minimum and allow a man to breadcrumb them down and give them less than they deserve. And we call it love. We call it love. And that's the reason why I don't watch a lot of those type of videos because I don't want to be programmed like that. I already know what that leads to. Anyway, it's not realistic. Love and basketball. I remember my sister used to watch it all the time. I hated it. To me, I hated that film. I felt like she played herself also. I think she dribbled for his heart. So this man didn't even pursue her. She was pursuing him majority of the video, but the majority of the movie, she's pursuing him. And yes, they end up together, and she ends up being more successful than he is because I think he had to retire from his dream. So she ends up being the provider. Okay. She's the provider. She chases him. I don't even see where the romance was in that video. To me, there was none. Not once do I feel like he was taking care of her heart, supporting her in her dreams, giving her attention, sharing any resources. I don't see any of that happen in that movie. That's the reason I never liked it. And just like jumping the broom. Jumping the broom is another one I seen going viral on social media really recently. And one of the things I realized in that video, she was never protected. So she married a whole man that would not protect her against his mother. His mother went in and ruined her life in 5 seconds. And she ends up marrying this man. She should have left that man at the altar. I would have. I would have. A lot of the movies that people consider to be romance, I do not. I do not. The closest I've actually gotten to a real romance is in a book, not on a movie screen. The romance I'm looking for is I'm looking for the guy to support me in my dreams, give me attention, give me validation, share your resources, have aligned values, show up for me, protect me, provide for me, be there for me. But you're not seeing that in these movies. You're not even seeing that in television. I can't even really think of a true love story on television. If you can think of one, drop it in the chat. I would love to check it out because I'm not a television person. I just stopped watching movies when I realized that they're making the same type of movies over and over and over. They're not realistic. It just means that the woman ends up in this pursuing of a man. And it means that she is trying to figure out how to be the dream girl for a guy who doesn't see her as his dream girl. And she's usually a placeholder and becomes a placeholder wife. That's the ending for me for most videos. That's how I interpret it when I watch these videos in movies, in television. That's the reason I don't watch too much of it. Because like I said, if you want to find real romance, it's going to be in a book. It's never going to be on television or movies because those things aren't realistic. It's turning women into breadwinners It's turning women into pursuers. It's turning women to being overly sexualized. It's turning women into placeholders. What about Pretty Woman with Juliet Roberts? What category is that? Girl, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see Pretty Woman as a romance. You all might have a different, you might not agree, but I do not see Pretty Woman as a romance. I don't see Pretty Woman as a romance because I feel like when it comes to that dynamic, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. How many women do you know that men are taking off the streets and they're the exception basically. When I look and say something's romance, I'm looking for something to be the majority. I'm not looking for something to be the exception. To me, Pretty Woman just encourages more women to dream and make certain decisions for their life. And then it encourages women to see if a man is going to see beyond their own inner work and come and save them. So no, I don't like Pretty Woman. To me, it's not a romance. You all can agree to disagree. I just don't like it. Like I said, I don't like most movies or television shows because I feel like they're unrealistic. They speak to the exceptions. It's encouraging delusion to women, and it's just not realistic. Because most men aren't coming out to save the woman who's a streetwalker. Just not. The exception, yes. It can happen, yes. I'm all for hope, but I'm also a realist to a certain degree. So that's the reason why that doesn't seem like a romance. Because then, even with the Pretty Woman, even with the one Juliet Roberts, I can't remember what her name was in that video, but to me, there's still a lack of respect that she has for herself. And you think that if she has a lack of respect for herself, that she's going to be able to attract someone on an energetic level that has respect for her. I want you to think about that in the majority, in being realistic. That's the reason why I can't get on board, because it encourages a certain level of delusion of women making decisions and believing that those decisions don't impact their life. See, I also believe, you all know I'm a spiritual person. There's something called the spiritual law and cause and effect. And certain decisions that you can make it harder for you to be able to attract the type of love that you desire. And so to me, that movie isn't love. And so you're telling me that in the very beginning, it was nothing but transaction, that that would mean that she's not the dream girl, but then she's a placeholder. And then she comes in and suddenly becomes the dream girl. That's still movies and television, because that's not how it works in real life. Usually when a woman comes in as a placeholder, she's going to leave as the placeholder. She's not going to suddenly become the dream girl. I can't think of one. I can't think of any classic love movies either. I would say The Notebook, but can't think of a black romance movie. See, that's the thing. And I always like to look at both. The Notebook, the Notebook was okay. Like, I'm not sure if I would categorize it as like romance. I think it was more of a drama. Like I told you all, I think entirely different when it comes to love. And I definitely can't think of no black romance movies. Absolutely not. We have the same thing in all of our movies. All of the women are pursuing the man, trying to figure out how to get the man to look at them as a dream girl. And at the end, after they went through a lot of angst and a lot of troubles, then the men have an epiphany and realize, oh, this is a dream girl. Let me marry her. No, what really is happening is that he sees that he can't get anything better. He can't qualify any type of woman. So he decides, let me go ahead and be with the woman that's staying here and accepting the bare minimum from me. And she's my girl. That's what happens in all of the black romance movies. Like, I feel like it's the same plot every single time, the same storyline every single time. So I don't watch them. And I'm not saying white romance movies are even better now. It's hard to find romance on screen. It's easier to read it in a book, read it in poetry, read it in a book, read it in what's the word for it? Like Greek mythology and stuff. It's better to read romance there versus to read romance or to see romance happening on the big screen or in the movies. Because you won't see it. Not in the way it's supposed to be. Korean dramas are damaging women. I I only watch like one or two Korean dramas, so I don't really know what's going on in their storylines. But I can tell you, majority of these storylines aren't love. The closer you can get to love is in a book, and I stand on that. The reason I stand on that because I know that when you read like Greek mythology, a woman men would fight over women in those books where men would fight over women. They would go to war for women. Um, they would give everything. They would give their life for women. Now, when you see these movies and television shows that they're putting out, the women are just pretty much just pursuing the man, and the man doesn't do anything. Like I can't even think of one scene where a man was in pursuit of the woman. Usually, it was her being in pursuit of him, and I feel like that's a part of the conditioning that we have in movies and television is that they're training you to pursue men. They're training you to wait around to spark something in a man so a man can see you as a dream girl. So that's the reason why I tell you that you're not the dream girl. It triggers women. You're really the placeholder. He's doing everything he can to show you you're the placeholder. The thing is, women are not paying attention because they've been conditioned by movies and television to absolutely believe that's how a relationship is. And it isn't. As a girly who has experienced both, I've experienced being a placeholder. I've experienced trying to figure out how do I make this relationship work? Does he love me? Is he in it like I am? I've experienced all that. And then I experienced being a dream girl where I'm so secure and I know where I stand in this relationship and I know how it feels to be taken care of and to be priority in the relationship. I know how it feels to have a man sacrifice for me so that I can get the things that I am needing and the support that I need and the attention that I need and the validation I need and giving the resources and willingly, openly sharing all of the resources and hiding nothing from me. So I know the difference between the placeholder and the dream girl because I've experienced both. And I can tell you, it is better on the side of being a dream girl. Being a dream girl is so much better than ever being a placeholder. Placeholders are just very confused about where they stand. And they're always trying to figure out, and they're always trying to read something or watch a YouTube video or do something to figure out how they can spark something in that man so that man can see what's in front of them. That's what you're doing as a placeholder. And you're going to have that feeling. So you're going to know I'm a placeholder. As soon as you start to feel like you're trying to figure out how to spark something in that man for him to see that you're worthy of him, you're a placeholder. And it's time to let that man go and date a man who sees you as a dream girl so he can be your dream guy. I hear a lot about old movies, 60s and older, but I haven't seen them myself. Yeah, I haven't really been watching the older movies because I don't know, because I came across a clip of an older movie, y'all, and it was problematic. So I don't know about the 60s and whatever, maybe even further back, it has to be. Maybe further back. Because I saw a clip from one of the older movies, and the guy was like giving a woman a spanking. And he was telling her it's best for her to spank. The reason he was spanking her is because he loved her. That's a weird message. That's not romance either. And it's a very popular movie. If I can remember the name of, I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I can tell you some of those movies in the 60s are also problematic. The sad thing is that they make it seem like the placeholder won. The placeholder has not won. The placeholder can become a wife. Like I said, right now we have an epidemic of women becoming placeholder wives. That's the reason why they're fighting to get attention from their men, to get support from their men, to get validation from their men, because they're the placeholder. And see, the placeholder can never become the dream girl. The placeholder is where he decides, hey, I'm not going to be able to have this opportunity. I get so many benefits from this woman. So I'm going to have to marry her because I'm not going to let these benefits go. Bro, it gets so frustrating. Like you said, society encourages women to be placeholders. When you wake up, it's a harsh reality. Absolutely. I do believe it's somewhat programming because the program is the more women that you get on board, They don't want men. They've been talking about it for a while about men being lonely. They don't want men to be lonely. The most dangerous person in the world is a young man that is lonely. That's the most dangerous person in the world. You can go look it up. So there's a conditioning that has to happen for women to not have an understanding of what love is, so that they will accept the bare minimum and allow themselves to be breadcrumbed down to zero. Get to the point where men don't care. Anytime you post something on social media, I've seen examples of this because I go run to the comment section like a Looney Tune, and I always see somebody posting about how to be a great husband. Men in the comment section believe that they don't have to do anything because they already have a wife that's a placeholder. And there's a lot of women don't understand that they're placeholders. That if this man had an opportunity to be with his dream girl, he would drop you in a heart second, in a heart attack second. Yes, it's exhausting and draining. It seriously ages you. I look so much younger since cutting off all that foolishness. Absolutely. Braille, how men test us? Well, men observe. Men are always observing. They're very observant when it comes to women. They look at what you're doing. Let me give you an example of this. A lot of men can look at a woman and determine if she's open to be disrespected. You want to know how? She looks at how he's going to look at how other people disrespect you. He's going to look at how you allow your friends to disrespect you, your family members to disrespect you, your coworkers to disrespect you. If you don't ever stand up for yourself, he can look at that and say, "Okay, I can observe in her that she's okay with me disrespecting her." Men just look at how you take care of yourself. They look at how you comport yourself and how you handle yourself in situations, and they observe this in you. When they observe it, then they can treat you accordingly, because you're not going to think anything's wrong because you're already being treated that way anyway. So if your friends and family and your coworkers are already disrespecting you, what's one more person? And that's how men think. What's one more person disrespect her because she's not going to see anything wrong? But if you're that type of woman, he sees you standing up to your friends and your family and your coworkers, he's going to take pause in trying to disrespect you. He's going to decide, well, I can't disrespect her because she's not going to accept that. She's already showing me that when someone disrespects her, she kind of speaks up for herself. If he sees that you're okay with Netflix and chilling, then he's going to offer you that. Like everything that you're doing, he's observing it. He observes all the things you're doing. And this is how he knows what you're open for and what you're not open for. That is the reason why I encourage women all the time. Do your work, become your own best dream girl so that you can attract your dream guy. Don't be the girl that's the placeholder, is willing to accept the bare minimum and allow yourself to be breadcrumb down. Because that's the reason a lot of women don't know if they're the placeholder or the dream girl, because both of them were getting 100%. The difference between the dream girl and the placeholder is the placeholder began to get less and less of him, and the dream girl kind of held steady. Only difference for her is that maybe he had to work overtime. Only difference for her is maybe he had a death in his family, he had to fall back a little bit. Only difference for her is that maybe he got sick, but he's never gonna fumble her by allowing it to go below 95%. Never. Because he knows that if he does, she's gonna be available and open to be dating someone else. The dream girl and the placeholder get different results by dating because it's their philosophy and the way they think of dating. The placeholder thinks of, let me figure out how I can spark something in him so that he can see me as my dream girl. The dream girl already knows she's the dream girl. She already knows she's that girl. So as soon as she sees some things are out of pocket, like he's trying to shortchange her on dates, or he's trying to give her less attention, or he doesn't want to support her, she's out and she finds somebody else who sees what's in her. He sees that she's that girl. She sees that she's that girl. And that's how great relationships work. That's how great relationships work. He has to see you that girl, and you have to know you that girl. That is the reason why women get Two different women can literally get two different types of men from the same man. Women don't like to hear that because women want to believe that he's going to treat me like he treats her and the girl before her. But that's not how it works, because the dream girl and the placeholder is going to get two different types of men. The placeholder is going to get a man who just wants to bare minimum her to death, breadcrumb her down to death. And the dream girl is not going to stand for any of that. So he can see that. He can read that off of her. And he decides I have to approach her differently. I have to treat her differently. So that's how women can get two different types of men in one man. All women want to be treated as the dream girl. Everyone. Every woman wants to be treated as a dream girl. A lot of women don't see that they're not operating as a dream girl in the first place. Because when it comes down to it, when you're treating yourself as your own dream girl, you don't accept that bare minimum or the breadcrumbing down. You just find a guy that's going to give you what you're looking for. You don't try to sit around and try to make this guy be something that he isn't. And that's the difference in the mindset when it comes to a placeholder versus a dream girl. I wasn't even able to attract my dream guy until I started becoming my own dream girl. I had to start eliminating certain behaviors that I displayed in order to be able to be an energetic match for my dream guy. I had to stop accepting bare minimum from men. I had to stop accepting a man who wouldn't support me. I had to stop accepting a man who don't want to give me attention. I had to stop allowing men to not take me on dates. And when I started pouring into myself and taking care of myself and investing in myself and stepping into my womanhood and taking my power back, that is when I started to operate on that dream girl level, and I started to attract my dream guy. Guys, because I don't believe in one. I don't believe in one. I don't believe in soulmates either. Does a man need to be taught how to treat a dream girl? Are there occasions when they don't know what you require? See, the thing is, a dream girl is always teaching a man by how she shows up. When you're teaching a man how to treat you, it's not about the words. Women get caught up in the words. You're not teaching this man. You're not sitting this man down and say, hey, you're a student, I'm a teacher. What you're doing is you're showing them up in a particular way. You're being your own dream girl. If you're the type of woman who likes to be taking on dates, you don't accept anything but dates. If you're the type of woman who doesn't accept disrespect or doesn't allow men to call her name, as soon as a man calls you out a name, he's crossed the boundary, you're done with him. See, a man is being taught by the way that you handle yourself. He's learning from you. He's observing how you handle situations. He's observing how you get out of how you experience things. He's observing you in real time, and that's how you're teaching him. When you feel like you have to take the time and sit him down as a student and a teacher, then it's not going to go well, because men don't like masculine and feminine and keeping that polarity. You don't want to ever get into the realm of trying to teach a man. Usually placeholder women want to teach a man. They feel like they have to tell a man everything. They have to over communicate. You don't have to over communicate. You just have to learn where you need to show up at, because you're not showing up properly. You're not showing up and being present in the way that you're supposed to be as a dream girl. If you think you're the dream girl, would a dream girl ever allow a man to Netflix and chill her? Would a dream girl ever allow her to be spoken out or disrespected or called out of her name? Would a dream girl be with a man who doesn't have the similar values? Dream girls don't do that. They don't move in that way. Everything that you do, from your body language to your energy, to the way you handle yourself, to the way you allow other people to handle you, is everything he's reading, and he's learning how to treat you through that. What were your techniques, self-love practices to change yourself? Well, I poured into learning about myself. I started to really study myself, and I developed self-awareness. That's the very first thing I developed, because a lot of women aren't aware of themselves. If you're not aware of yourself, how can you know what you're putting out and what people are getting from you? If you're not aware that you get triggered every time someone says a specific thing and you don't study yourself, you will never know. So the very first thing I did was I started to study myself with compassion and grace. It wasn't studying myself in order to down myself or make me feel worse about who I am as a woman. It was just to study myself to kind of figure out, why do I do the things I do? That's where I started from. And then when I started studying myself, I started to pick out things that I want to change so that I can become my own dream girl. Because I realized the type of men that I wanted to date, I wanted them to have the level of integrity that I have. I wanted a guy that I want him not just to believe that he shouldn't steal. I want him to do those things even when he's not looked at. I want him to have that level of integrity. So I know if I want him to have that level, I need to make sure that I had that level. So self-awareness is the very first thing that I had to do. I had to learn how to study myself and give myself compassion, because it takes time to kind of study yourself and figure out why you do the things that you do, why you're triggered in the way you're triggered. How do you solve that issue so you're not triggered about that anymore? So I had to do that, and it took some time. It took some time. I think I took a year and a half off just of no. For me, it was no dating, just focusing in on pouring in myself and investing in myself as a woman, and listening to my elders and getting advice from women who already had what I had what I wanted. I didn't go to women who didn't have it. I went to women who had it. And I said, let me sit down at your feet and let me figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I want what I see you having. I want to be with a man that looks at me with the stars in his eyes. I want the epitome of love from a man. But I had to figure out, like, what did I need to change? Not what did I need to change for him? What did I need to change for myself so I can be the one to receive love in the way that it needed to be received? So happy I found your content dropping gems. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. But you have to have a measuring stick. And that's what I want this video to be used as, a measuring stick to determine if you're the dream girl or the placeholder. And once you realize, you will notice pretty quickly on if you're the placeholder. You're the placeholder because he's going to start taking away things that he started out with. In the very beginning, he was taking you on dates. He was showing you off. You all were traveling, and there was nothing but stars in his eyes, you thought, right? And then he started taking it little by little. What I call it, breadcrumbing you down. He starts taking things away from the relationship. And instead of you realizing what's happening, you start focusing in on more of, you think you're doing something wrong when you're not really doing anything wrong other than staying there too long. You staying there too long. You should have left him alone when you started seeing him breadcrumb you down. When a man starts giving you that bare minimum, you have to learn to leave. That's what dream girls do, because they understand that the guy that's going to see them as a dream girl, he's not going to want her to slip through his fingers. He's going to get ready. That's the reason why I have so many stories of women who the man really wasn't ready, but he got ready. He got his stuff together, and he provided for her in a way that she wanted to be provided. She didn't go in and say, hey, I'll give myself half off as long as I can be with you. No, when you do that, that's placeholder behavior. A placeholder goes in and takes her and puts a discount on herself and says, as long as I'm with you, I'm willing to accept the bare minimum. Just like in social media encourages that. That's the reason why I kind of backed off on certain social media platforms, because I'm tired of that encouragement being there. I'm tired of that conditioning being there. I think there was a video that went viral a couple of months ago where a woman and a man was together, and the man was literally homeless, and she was homeless with him. She put herself on discount to be with a homeless man. And as soon as that man get his stuff together and realize that she has allowed herself to be drugged through the dirt and being misused, he doesn't look at her the same. It's like some of the sparkle has been washed off. When you start allowing yourself to be mistreated by a man, allow yourself to receive the bare minimum, allow yourself to be breadcrumbed down, a man will literally look at you in the eyes and look at you as though you're not worthy of anything. But in your heart of hearts, you're being genuine. You're like, I'm being this because I love you. No, you don't really love him. That's a whole nother conversation, but you don't really love him. You don't realize you don't love him, because it took me a while to realize when I was in a placeholder position, I thought I loved him, but I loved the idea of him. I didn't love him. The man that I love is my husband. The dream girl I'm for is for my husband because he's my dream guy. Any type of love that requires you to put yourself on discount is not the type of love that you should desire. But know the difference between the dream girl and the placeholder, because it's going to be important when you're out here dating so you can kind of make that determination very quickly. And it's not about trying to change yourself for you to become his dream girl. It's about you recognizing you're not going to be his dream girl. And now it's time for me to pour more into myself, invest into myself. It's time to be center myself, because if I'm sitting here thinking that this man is a good candidate and he's looking at me back and he's not seeing dream girl status within me, then there's something else that I need to work on for me. Not for him, but for me. I need to continue on my journey of becoming the dream girl of my dreams so that I don't ever look at a man and think that the bare minimum is enough. Being a placeholder was a time of confusion. I think being a placeholder was the worst time of my life, because not only was I embarrassed several times being a placeholder, I think it hurt my self-esteem and self-confidence, because before going in, I was somewhat self-confident, but going out, I felt like I had been several rounds in boxing with Mike Tyson. So you're gonna know if you're a placeholder, because you're gonna feel that something's wrong, that you're gonna have questions about the relationship and where you stand. And you're always, if you ever have to be put in the mindset of you trying to figure out how you can become better so that he can accept you or so that he can do more for you, you're already in the placeholder. It's already 1 second too late. It's already 1 second too late. A lot of women don't notice that they're a placeholder until the men don't even care. That's how you end up with placeholder wives. Dream girls don't have to fight over a man's attention. They don't have to fight to get his attention. They just have it. Matter of fact, there's a certain level of awareness that comes with being with that man. When a man is with his dream girl, he always has a certain level of awareness of her, wherever she is, if she's in the same room or wherever she is around him. One of the things I've noticed is that even if he's doing something and I'm doing something else, he still his eyes are still following me. He still has his eyes on me. And it doesn't matter where we are, if we are together, he still has a certain set of awareness of where I am. But when I was a placeholder, it didn't matter where I was, I still never got the attention. The guy act like I wasn't even there. He act like he couldn't even hardly speak to me. He would act even more emotionally unavailable, because that's the facade they put on. When they know you're the placeholder, that's the reason why women don't know if they're the placeholder or the dream girl, because you're getting it all in the very beginning. The difference is the placeholder starts to see that things are being taken away. And then it's to the level of he doesn't even care. Would you say placeholders deep down don't feel worthy or deserving? I would agree. Yeah, I absolutely would say placeholders don't feel worthy or deserving. That's the reason why they don't focus on themselves. They focus on him. They center him. And that backfires, because the more that a man is treating you with the bare minimum and disrespecting you, the less crushing that he has on you. Remember, like I said, when I brought back to that celebrity, how I was in awe of her on television, but then when I see her in person, I was like, ooh, she's just an average Becky. She looks average. I'm not saying she's not pretty. I'm not saying she's not gorgeous, but I know 5 of her. And it kind of just lessened the admiration that I had of her. So the more he sees that from you, the less he's going to see you as any more than what you are as a placeholder. Or because they're too nice and giving. I think there's both. I don't agree in being too nice and giving. And I definitely know, I do believe that the reason why they are too nice and giving is because they don't feel worthy or deserving. They feel like they have to do more in order for this man to be in their life. So they overgive, they're too nice, they allow and accept too much from a man. But women who are the dream girl, it's a different effect, it's a different feeling. You recognize that the man, instead of taking away things from you, he's adding to the relationship. He's improving his skills. He's becoming better because he sees you as a dream girl and he doesn't want to lose you. This is the effect most women want on men. But unfortunately, that's not the effect most women have. And they try to get that effect by trying to be or do more for a man. The thing is, you don't get that unless you do more for yourself. You pour more into supporting you, giving yourself attention, investing in yourself and your womanhood. You do more for you, and then you become an energetic match for the dream guy, for the guys who are on your level. Is it possible that man considers you the dream girl but sabotages it? Not because he views you as a placeholder, because he has other issues or fears. That's the exception. That's the exception. Because I know men who have fears, who have mental health issues, and they went to therapy, they went and got over their fears, they went and got more jobs and acquired more resources. So a man that sees a woman as a dream girl would do what he can to change his life. So what you're talking about is the exception of the rule. And I can't stand on the exceptions. I don't teach exceptions because I already know that men that see the woman as a dream girl, he tries to be on his P's and Q's and he doesn't try to sabotage the relationship. He tries to deal with his issues. And one of the things I want women to understand, because this mentality is gonna harm you overall, I feel. So I have to say it. It's gonna harm you overall as a woman if you can't accept that you were not this man's dream girl. You're just a placeholder. You have to be okay with knowing that you're a man's placeholder and you all weren't a good match. That you need to leave that man and just find you one that will look at you with stars in his eyes and see you as a dream girl. Guess what? It's okay that you were a placeholder. You learned a lot through that journey and you got a lot of experience. Now you know what you're not open for and what you're not available for. But women have to really get in this mentality of being okay with it and not try to rationalize it or analyze it or believe it's something that it isn't. Because then you'll lie to yourself and be like, oh, yes, I'm his dream girl and he's going to get it together. He just made a mistake. See what I'm saying? That mentality is very dangerous for women. And I don't want you all to do that because I feel like you're laying a trap that you're going to fall into. Let's look at the facts and not and take your ego out of it. Because every woman wants, I've never heard any woman to ever think that she was a problem or that she was the issue or that she wasn't the dream girl. Most women believe that they're the dream girls in every relationship. And the unfortunate truth, majority of relationship, you probably was a placeholder. You were the placeholder. I was the placeholder. We were the placeholder. And we got to be okay with that because it helps us to grow and see things for what it is. You're the placeholder. If this man is not willing to get his stuff together, if he ain't immediately get in go mode of getting things together or correcting issues, then you're the placeholder. And that is what it is. And then you can just let that man go and date a man that sees you as the dream girl and has stars in his eyes about you. So that's one thing I wanted to say. I wanted to make sure women realize, don't get caught up in that mentality. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for you to get caught up in that mentality of, oh, I am the dream girl. Even though you can see with evidence that you aren't. You aren't the dream girl, and it's okay. We've all been there. I think we can all attest that we've been, maybe, I don't know, maybe every woman hasn't been the dream girl before, but every woman has been the placeholder before. I know for facts I have been both. I have been a placeholder in a relationship before, And I currently am experiencing the dream girl and being a dream girl in marriage. And it's a different type of relationship versus the placeholder when I was so confused about a man. And I'm telling you now, if you got a lot of confusion surrounding your relationship with a man, you're probably in the placeholder position. A man is not going to want a dream girl to have any confusion. You know why? Because the dream girl will leave him. The dream girl walk away, and he knows that. But a placeholder, she's accept his excuses and accept that he's scared of marriage. He's not ready for marriage. He's not financially ready for marriage. Men that see women as dream girl, they will get their ish together so fast, and they will not give you any excuses about that. They're going to make everything right because they don't want to lose you. But when a man sees a placeholder, he treats a placeholder as such a placeholder. And she'll have all these excuses and she will accept them all. The thing is, the scary thing from placeholder, a woman who's a placeholder, she can become a placeholder wife. Now that's scary. Because then he realized that he wasn't going to find anything better than you, and he made you his wife. Breadcrumb is so dangerous because it suggests hope and drags you along indefinitely if you don't let that hope go. Absolutely. And that's the reason why I guess y'all can call me the hope killer. Because I would prefer to kill your hope than for you to stay around a God that's never gonna look at you with stars in his eyes. I want you to experience being with a man that will literally give his life for you. Being with a man who will give all his resources and time, attention, and validation to you. That will make you a priority in his life, not if his job becomes before you. That's what I want you to experience. You won't ever experience that if you're holding on to the breadcrumbing that man is doing. If you're holding on to the excuses that man is giving you. Because placeholders have a lot of excuses. And when you have conversations with them, you'll know that they're placeholders by the excuses they give you about their guy. He didn't do this because he ain't got no money. He didn't do this because of the fact that he's scared. He didn't do this because he's insecure. There's so many excuses that placeholder will give a man that doesn't see them as a dream girl. And that's the unfortunate truth. And she doesn't recognize that she is a placeholder. And she may even become his wife. That's the reason why being a wife is not the end goal. I want you to get married. I value marriage, but I know that's not the end goal. Because it needs to be a marriage of value, a marriage of purpose, a marriage of polarity, not just to have his last name, not just to have a marriage certificate. And there's too many women who just have a marriage certificate, and they're just placeholder wives, and they still are very confused about the husband that they have. They don't even know where they stand in the marriage. I know a couple. I just don't hang out with them. I have some associates that are placeholder wives that they don't even know where they stand in the marriage. So they still don't know if this man loved them or care for them. And they're willing to stay to figure out, they're trying to figure out how they can spark that in him so that he would care enough to actually show that he cared. That's the face I give when I'm like, my mouth is on the floor. Like, you don't know if he cares about you when you're married to him. But I've heard women say they don't know. They absolutely don't know if he cares. All right, so if we don't have any more comments or any questions in the chat, we're gonna get ready to close out. I'm gonna leave this video up as a measurement to find out to make you aware if you are a dream girl placeholder. I kind of want you to be aware of the differences between the two. And I want you to be able to leave a man alone when you realize that you're the placeholder. And leave the man alone, let him go so that you can be with the guy who's your dream guy because you're the dream woman. It's so sad now that I realize how many women I know in my family are a placeholder wife who finally got married after 10 years. And see, that's not even, oh, girl, you're trying to get me in trouble and open up a can of worms. Most women will swear you down that a man, they waited 10 years and they got married and everything's great. I'm going to tell you what I learned being around women who are treated as dream girls and dream wives. That if a man waits that long, He's waiting to see if he has other options. And the reason why he took so long is because, in fact, he realized he wasn't going to have any other options. And women don't realize that. Women don't realize that when a woman, when a man finds his dream girl, he's trying to lock her down as fast as possible. I'm not saying the dream girl has to move as fast as possible, but he is trying to move her towards the relationship or commitment that you all desire very quickly, because he sees that work, he sees that value, and he knows that you have this mentality, or you have this ability to be snatched up real quick, and he doesn't want that to happen. So you see, so I trust me, I'm on Instagram also, and I have so many women who hate that when I say it. They be like, "That's not true. My husband took 8 years, 10 years." I think I met one woman said it took her husband 15 years to marry her. Girl, he shopped around before he figured out that you were the best he was going to receive, and then he decided, "Let me lock her down. She's not going anywhere. She accepted the bare minimum from me. She accepted me looking around at other women. She accepted me. She accepted me cheating on her. She accepted me not sharing her resources. So this is the best deal I'm gonna get. Let me go ahead and lock her on in." Men will say it. Men who are actually healthy will tell you it doesn't take a man that long to figure it out. Men who are unhealthy, they're gonna agree that, oh yeah, it took that long. All right, so I don't see any other comments or anything is in chat. Take the time to like the video and comment on the replay. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for following the page. If you haven't subscribed, take the time to subscribe. I appreciate that we're growing. I love that for us. All of the new followers, welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next live stream, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye.